What's up, my totally tubular viewers? And today we have another book roundup. Now, the thing is, this will definitely be like one of the last ones we'll be doing, because, yeah, it's gonna be a while till I read some more that are gonna actually be useful. But, anyways, I wanted to combine the psychology and business books together because both of them go hand in hand. So, this might be a two-parter, we'll see. But yeah, here they are, the little grand assortment here. There you go. All right, anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So, starting off with our first book, The Steal Like an Artist by Austin Keeline, which is basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. It talks about taking inspiration. It's not self-explanatory, but it's pretty obvious what it's about. So, it's taking inspiration from other people and making stuff that is going to be put on different markets and, making a specialized market about it. Oh, this one's also, it tells the very similar story about the same thing. This one's a little better than this one. So if I were you, I'd get this one. This one really does a better job. I don't know what the schmutz are over here. I don't know what happened over there, but it's kind of weird. Anyways, The Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher. You already know this book. I really like it a lot. It helps in any sort of environment with like business or with friendships or relationships, what have you. Like this one is one of my favorites, and it's shown up in the best books of all time video for a reason. But yeah, the title really does it justice. Lucky by Design. Now this one I covered before, I feel like, but it's like the hidden marketplaces within the everyday economics. So it'll be stuff like, well, I already covered it, so you can visit that one. But yeah, there's like the hidden economics, like with the ice cream cone, and you have three people that want it, and so it's like, oh, you can share it. And then like if there's like being on multiple wait lists, and increasing your chances of getting a vital organ transplant or something like that, if there's like an emergency and you need it, and stuff like that. But anyways, there's that. The Personal MBA. I haven't started reading this yet, but the title says what it does. So I'm gonna, if I ever end up reading it, it'll be so I don't have to pay the money to actually get an MBA, and I can just, it's an easier, more effective way. And really, like, you can do a lot with an MBA, sure, but it's really expensive, and you might not feel like doing the responsibilities of the jobs associated with that are only through MBAs. So yeah, there's that. And then Never Split the Difference. I was gonna start reading this when I go into sales eventually, and negotiating. This really helps with that. And yeah, it's just really great book. And this is like a bestseller for a reason. So yeah, I had to pick it up because it's one of those future titles I would read. But let's check the table of contents. So there's the new roles: a mirror, established rapport, yeah. Beware of yes, master no. So yeah, it's a lot of psychology, as you would expect. Yeah, so there's that. And then Pareto's Principle, 80-20 your life. Yes. And this book is pretty self-explanatory if you know what it is. It's basically doing 20% of the work for 80% of the gain. And this is a philosophy you can take with you, literally apply it anywhere in your life, and it'll make your life a lot more efficient. And so I highly recommend that you give this book a try. I'm already starting to use some of these things already in my life, but there are some aspects that I want to enhance, and he outlines some other ways of doing that. So yeah, great book. And then the Bond book, a bit of a sleeper hit, but if you really want the, more of like consistent, tried and true passive income, I mean, it's pretty good for that. And there's like some tax stuff in here too that you can learn. It's pretty practical, but very boring. Yeah, and I covered this in another video as well. Atomic Habits, classic. He talks about the different ways of like habit stacking and having your habits be optimal and working for you rather than against you. And he also talks about habits that compound over time and they become quote unquote atomic. And so that's really quite something when you get that to work. And he talks about like going into different areas to focus on different hobbies, but like delegating one area per hobby so that it becomes more of priority management and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid book, I would say. Well, this isn't going to be a two-parter after all, so that's good. Deep work. Now, deep work is it's intense focus. Intense focus like would be for like 4 hours, maybe like 5 hours at a time, just getting into that flow state and really putting in some quality into the work, into the product or service. Now, it's not always easy to do in a world of distractions, and this book really helps alleviate those distractions. And when you have those distractions and you're still working or doing work that anyone else can do like very easily, that's shallow work. So yeah, I mean, I really like this idea and concept. It's a pretty nice way of explaining it, of these different working methodologies. So yeah. Mindset, growth or fixed. Growth, there's no limit. Fixed, there is. It's what you need to know. Take it anywhere in your life that you need to. And challenge yourself. Challenge yourself against yourself. Don't compare yourself to others aside from yourself. And try to accomplish your goals to the best of your ability. And then, yeah, we have Art of the Deal by Trump. And yeah, I mean, say what you will, because it's a pretty controversial president, even though he shouldn't be. But, it is what it is. He made a great book. Sometimes, like, for people, they have to separate the art from the artist. Like, we all know about that saying. And I would say that applies here, as it's a #1 national bestseller. And I'm going to read it once I start getting closer to going into sales. And The Pathless Path is for those who don't quite fit the rat race of the traditional 9 to 5 and want to carve a path of their own. And, I gotta say, I'm glad that I ended with this book last, because this is probably one of the most important books to end off with. Because you want to start, really making those products or services online as like, I mean, most people would start it as a side hustle, and it's not always easy, but we live in a world where AI is taking over 50% of people's jobs, and that's not great. That's not good, but we can use AI to our advantage, and we can, either create books, or we can invest, accumulate some real estate, or put some leases out there, generate some passive income, get those coupon rates going. And you want to start accumulating royalties and other forms of passive income, but you want to also do it through your interests if possible. And it's not going to be an easy journey, but it's going to be a fulfilling one. But yeah, I would say there's a number of easy entry points I can think of, like making some music and then advertising yourself on Instagram with the songs or on YouTube. Then you get some public recognition, and then you can try to be famous that way. Or you could try to do some voice acting, but basically using Instagram as an apparatus for marketing. But like with books, you would want to do Amazon KDP and you'd want to market yourself also through Instagram. Like at YouTube, the thing is, that's not the most efficient way. Like it gets lost in the sauce pretty easily. I feel like Instagram is probably better, and it's got a wider demographic. And there's also Facebook, but it depends on the demographic and your target audience of the product or service you're trying to get out to the masses. So yeah, bear that in mind, and then like less is more, and focus on experiences rather than materialistic goods. And yeah, I would say, well, living below your means is also a great thing. And then also another book that I saw an audio recording of was The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, with the different cash flow quadrants. And basically in there, it talks about a rich dad and a poor dad, where the poor dad would try to allocate all of his time to his work, while the rich dad would have time for his mind to wander and have these other things going on in his life. And, the lesson there is like, don't be, if at all possible, don't be a slave to your job. It's not healthy, and you will have diminishing returns in the quality of your service or product. And nobody really wants that, and you'll show up grumpy, and like it's a Mesopotamia. But yeah, like, because like you think about those shoemakers back in the 1700s, and there's specialized marketplaces there, and this is we're kind of circling back around after the advent of the Industrial Revolutions and the dot-com era and all that stuff. And so it's pretty fascinating in a way, once you think about it. But yeah, like this is the world we live in, and we all have to do our best to make the most of it, and with the balance in all things. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope it helped you guys out, and yeah, that's about it. Have a great rest of the day.